world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. When you think you see value in this world, say, this will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Well, thank you all so much for joining me here today. I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, and we're studying lesson 128 in A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the version printed by Foundation for Inner Peace here on Tuesday, May the 7th of 2024. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Believe this thought, and you are saved from years of misery, from countless disappointments, and from hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. Okay, since there's so much hinging on this idea, and it's so foreign to the way we think, let's look at it again. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Believe this thought, and you are saved from years of misery, from countless disappointments, and from hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. No one but must accept this thought as true if he would leave the world behind and soar beyond its petty scope and little ways. Each thing you value here is but a chain that binds you to the world, and it will serve no other end but this, for everything must serve the purpose you have given it, until you see a different purpose there. The only purpose worthy of your mind this world contains is that you pass it by, without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none. Be you deceived no more. The world you see holds nothing you want. The world you see holds nothing that you want. Escape today the chains you place upon your mind when you perceive salvation there. For what you value you make part of you as you perceive yourself. All things you seek to make your value greater in your sight limit you further, hide your worth from you, and add another bar across the door that leads to true awareness of yourself. Let nothing that relates to body thoughts delay your progress to salvation, nor permit temptation to believe the world holds anything you want to hold you back. Let's look at that one again. Let nothing that relates to body thoughts delay your progress to salvation, nor permit temptation to believe the world holds anything you want to hold you back. Nothing is here to cherish. Nothing is here to cherish. Nothing here is worth one instant of delay and pain. Nothing here is worth one instant of delay and pain, one moment of uncertainty and doubt. The worthless offer nothing. Certainty of worth cannot be found in worthlessness. Today we practice letting go all thought of values we have given to the world. We leave it free of purpose we gave its aspects and its phases and its dreams. We hold it purposeless within our minds and loosen it from all we wish it were. Thus do we lift the chains that bar the door to freedom from the world and go beyond all little values and diminished goals. Pause and be still a moment. Pause and be still a little while, and see how far you rise above the world when you release your mind from chains and let it seek the level where it finds itself at home. Wow, can we do that with our minds? Look what it says. We'll be doing this today in our 3 10-minute periods. Pause and be still a little while and see how far you rise above the world when you release your mind from chains and let it seek the level where it finds itself at home. It will be grateful to be free a while. It knows where it belongs, but free its wings, and it will fly in sureness and in joy to join its holy purpose. Let it rest in its Creator, there to be restored to sanity, to freedom, and to love. Give it 10 minutes rest 3 times today. And when your eyes are opened afterwards, you will not value anything you see as much as when you looked at it before. Your whole perspective on the world will shift by just a little every time you let your mind escape its chains. The world is not where it belongs, and you belong where it would be, and where it goes to rest when you release it from the world. Your guide is sure. Open your mind to Him, be still and rest. Protect your mind throughout the day as well, and when you think you see some value in an aspect or an image of the world, refuse to lay this chain upon your mind, but tell yourself with quiet certainty, this will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Wow. That's foreign to the way we think, but he's trying to get us to see that the ephemeral, that which changes, is not where we're at home, but we're at home in what does not change, the changeless love of God that you can see in your brothers and sisters in this world, but it transcends this world. Don't get caught up in thinking that the three-dimensional, tangible world can ever satisfy you. The world I see holds nothing that I want. When you think you see value in this world, say, this will not tempt me to delay myself. Or you might say, let this not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Let's trust in our guide, that what we're saying is true for us. And let's do as it says in that very first sentence. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Quite a statement. Believe this thought, and you are saved from years of misery, from countless disappointments, and from hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. No one must but accept this thought as true if he would leave the world behind and soar, fly, beyond its petty scope and little ways. Let's grow our wings today, and let's put our value on what's truly valuable, where the Holy Spirit knows we can go when we release this world from being valuable to us. Okay, well, let's go look in our text reading. We'll come back and sing that song again at the end. But right now, let's go take a look at our text reading for today is chapter 14, Teaching for Truth. Roman numeral 8, the holy meeting place. That's what we want to reach today, the holy meeting place. By cutting the values, cutting the cords of what we think is valuable here, and soaring to be where we're truly at home. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Okay, before we look at, I mentioned yesterday, I should have told you that it was Yom Hashoah, Yom Hashoah, an Israel, I guess a Jewish holiday, and it's the English translation, I suppose, would be Holocaust Remembrance Day. So I should have told you that one yesterday. But for today, Childhood Depression Day, Foster Care Day, National Barrier Awareness Day, National Concert Day, National Roast Leg of Lamb Day, National Cosmopolitan Day, National Golf Day, National Teachers Day, National Tourism Day, Paste Up Day, and World Asthma Day. And let's see, and since all that's going on over in the Middle East right now, and let's put our hearts with the Palestinian people who speak Arabic, and let's use their word for peace, which is Salaam. And that's where that word Islam came from. Salaam. What I wanted to say is that in thought of that, there's only one religion in the world, and it's the way I look at it is that the one religion in the world is the religion that brings you peace. And as you follow your guidance or your whatever you've got to use, we're learning to use the Holy Spirit as our internal guide and to listen to His voice. And we're all going to learn that in the end. But what the one universal factor that we all are trying to find is personal peace. Peace around us, peace in general. So let's let our, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I consider the world religion that we all ought to be following is world peace. Okay, and now in edible landscaping, so Salaam for the Palestinian people. Okay, let's see. Liberty apple out of edible landscaping. And let me just say that Malus is the genus, and there's about 30 species of apple. And edible landscaping doesn't say that apples are Malus domestica. Most places will say that that's what an apple is. But the truth is that they could be a cross of those 30 species. So he just, in edible landscaping, it just says SPP, which I think stands for species. Liberty apple. Shiny, deep red, lighter the further south Liberty is grown. Crisp apple that is scab immune and resistant to mildew, apple cedar rust, and fire blight. Late summer ripening, keeps well, one of the most disease-resistant apples ever developed. Has a Macintosh aroma and a crisp, juicy flavor essence. Very productive, so keep about 3 inches between each fruit. When you're growing it, leave about 3 inches between them. Self-fertile, space dwarf, semi-dwarf, and standards in circles 10, 15, and 20 foot respectively. Zones 4 through 7. That's your Liberty apple. The Malus, maybe it's a domestica, maybe not. Okay, Liberty apple. And now in Permaculture for Beginners by Carrie Mitchell, or in Chapter 8, Creating a Composting System. Pit or trench composting is the last one she speaks of. Commonly used for high nitrogen, which is your green, waste, where you dig a pit or a trench and fill with food waste, etc., and then cover with a thin layer of soil. You could even mix a little soil in with it as you layer it up if you wanted to. But that's not what most people just fill it up, and then when you get it full, then put a little dirt over the top. It will take about 6 to 12 months to turn to compost. Unless it is high in carbon, then it will take even longer. It's usually nice for garden paths or for future garden sites. It is usually a cold process. Laborious simply because of having to dig the trench, hole, or pit. Nice for keeping compost out of sight, though. And then I plopped down here in front of a poison ivy plant. And it's just, I don't usually grab them, but for the sake of education, I find if I wash my hands fairly quickly after I pick up poison ivy, it doesn't cause them any adverse effect. Poison ivy, Toxicodendron radicans. Toxicodendron is also poison ivy and poison sumac, different species though. The poison ivy is the radicans. Homeopathic uses have been used for pain, rheumatoid arthritis, sprains, and itchy skin. Found that on WebMD. So leaves of 3, let it be, you've heard it say? Well, know a little bit more than just that, because strawberries also have 3 leaves. They're a little more toothed than this, but anyway, I just wanted to, since I sat down right there beside a poison ivy, I thought, well, let's make sure we understand what they look like, since so many people are susceptible to that itchy feeling you get from poison ivy. I've heard pure oxygen on that, sprayed on that, will alleviate the problem. I find just wash it real good as soon as you've got it on you, in cold water and soap. Cold water makes that oil get hard, and so it falls off. Hot water opens your pores and lets the oil go in. I usually do a cold shower, usually in a creek, or wherever I'm close where I get into it. I try to get to the water, wash off with some mud or dirt, but in the cold water. And that's usually fine for me. If you're more allergic, you may want to get out of the creek, wash with soap, rinse off, then get back in the creek. Don't put your soap in the creek. Okay, the holy meeting place. And of course, we're keeping in our idea today. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The holy meeting place. In the darkness you have obscured the glory God gave you, and the power he bestowed upon his guiltless Son. All this lies hidden in every darkened place, shrouded in guilt and in the dark denial of innocence. Behind the dark doors you have closed lies nothing, because nothing can obscure the gift of God. It is the closing of the doors that interferes with recognition of the power of God that shines in you. Banish not power from your mind, but let all that would hide your glory be brought to the judgment of the Holy Spirit, and there undone. Whom he would save for glory is saved for it. He has promised the Father that through him you would be released from littleness to glory. To what he promised God, he is wholly faithful, for he shares with God the promise that was given him to share with you. Paragraph 2. He shares it still for you. Everything that promises otherwise, great or small, however much or little valued, he will replace with the one promise given unto him to lay upon the altar to your Father and his Son. No altar stands to God without his Son, and nothing brought there that is not equally worthy of both, but will be replaced by gifts wholly acceptable to Father and to Son. Can you offer guilt to God? You cannot then offer it to his Son, for they are not apart, and gifts to one are offered to the other. You know not God because you know not this. Okay, why do we go through a world where God seems to not be around? Well, let's look at it again. Can you offer guilt to God? You cannot then offer it to his Son. Can you offer guilt to God? Think that God's guilty? Well, then you cannot offer it to his Son, for they are not apart, and gifts to one are offered to the other. You know not God because you know not this, and yet you do not know, and yet you do know God, and also this. It's underneath the chatter of the mind. What's truly there is still there. All this is safe within you, where the Holy Spirit shines. So if you are finding it hard to know God, the one thing that will be true is that you'll be making judgments on His dear Son, your brothers and sisters. So quit making those judgments and seeing them as guilty, and you'll begin to hear the voice for God again. He shines not in division, but in the meeting place where God, united with His Son, speaks to His Son through Him. Communication between what cannot be divided cannot cease. Let's read that again, turning the page. Communication between what cannot be divided cannot cease. The holy meeting place of the unseparated Father and His Son lies in the Holy Spirit and in you. All interference in the communication that God Himself wills with His Son is quite impossible here. Unbroken and uninterrupted love flows constantly between the Father and the Son, as both would have it be. And so it is. Paragraph 3. Let your mind wander not through darkened corridors away from light's center. Let your mind wander not through darkened corridors away from light's center. Remember yesterday we talked about walking in the light, letting truth be true, let it come to you. Don't hold anything away, because the truth will become quite obvious if it's brought into the proximity of an erroneous thought or an error thought or an illusion. Let your mind wander not through darkened corridors away from light's center. You and your brother may choose to lead yourselves astray, but you can be brought together only by the guide appointed for you. He will surely lead you to where God and His Son await your recognition. They are joined in giving you the gift of oneness, before which all separation vanishes. Unite with what you are. You cannot join with anything except reality. God's glory and His Son's belong to you in truth. God's glory and His Son's belong to you in truth. They have no opposite, and nothing else can you bestow upon yourself. Paragraph 4. There is no substitute for truth, and truth will make this plain to you as you are brought into the place where you must meet with truth, and there you must be led through gentle understanding, which can lead you nowhere else. Through gentle understanding, that's how the Holy Spirit leads us. Where God is, there are you. Such is the truth. Nothing can change the knowledge given you by God into unknowingness. Everything God created knows its Creator. For this is how creation is accomplished, by the Creator and by His creations. In the holy meeting place are joined the Father and His creations, and the creations of His Son with them together. There is one link that joins them all together, holding them in the oneness out of which creation happens. And the last paragraph finishes section 5. The link with which the Father joins Himself to those He gives the power to create can never be dissolved. Heaven itself is union with all creation and with its one Creator. Heaven itself is union with all of creation and with its one Creator. And heaven remains the will of God for you. Lay no gifts other than this upon your altars, for nothing can coexist within it. Here your little offerings are brought together with the gift of God, and only what is worthy of the Father will be accepted by the Son, for whom it is intended. To whom God gives Himself, He is given. Your little gifts will vanish on the altar, where He has placed His own. Okay, well, let's remember that in our today, let's take 10 minutes 3 times today and pause and be still a little while and see how far you rise above the world when you release your mind from chains and let it seek the level where it finds itself at home. But free its wings and it will fly in sureness and in joy to join its holy purpose. Give it 10 minutes rest 3 times today. The world is not where it belongs, and you belong where it would be and where it goes to rest when you release it from the world. Your guide is sure. Open your mind to Him, your guide. Be still and rest. Protect your mind throughout the day as well, and when you think you see some value in an aspect or an image of the world, refuse to lay this chain upon your mind, but tell yourself with quiet certainty, this will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Okay, well, let yourself rest from thinking the world has anything to offer you for value, and find where you're truly at home. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. When you think you see value in this world, say, this will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. When you think you see value in this world, say, this will not tempt me to deny myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Salaam.